I'm gonna show you a little magic trick to start out. Oh, look at that. I mean, that's free. That's free entertainment. You did watch an ad probably, but that's pretty good for what we're offering here. Yo, what's up guys? Sam here. Hope you're doing well. I'm not gonna tell you I did that trick because that would just give away all my secrets. And apparently Apple's not gonna tell us about what the heck's going on with AirPods either, because there have been some serious issues with AirPods Pro for months. I've actually been looking to make this video since sometime, I think before the end of last year. And I said, no, I wanna wait, see if things get better. You know, every product at launch is gonna have a couple of issues, but generally within a couple weeks to maybe a couple months, they're all fixed and addressed. That has not been the case with AirPods Pro, and unfortunately things are getting worse for AirPods in general. What's going on with AirPods? So first off, it requires a brief understanding of how software updates on these work. It's a really good idea, big brain stuff actually right off the bat. AirPods and AirPods Pro and AirPods 2 update automatically in the background. So whenever you connect them to your iPhone, it pings the server, it says, hey, is there a new update for me? And then if there is, whenever you stop listening and like set them in their charging case, they will update automatically if there is. Now in a perfect world, this is awesome because you never have to think about software updates. But like on iOS and macOS, that could be an issue because what if you don't want to update? What if you don't want to consent to getting a new feature in fear that something might go wrong? Well, that's not really an option for AirPods. And that's because normally only good things happen in AirPods software updates. But that's not what happened with AirPods Pro, and this story starts all the way back in November of 2019. I'm gonna link this awesome Medium post I read about this down below where somebody talked about their AirPods Pro experience. Essentially, the initial firmware, which was 2B584, came out with AirPods on October 30th when they were announced, and it was fantastic. Awesome noise cancellation, good overall sound quality and bass response. I mean, I remember when I first heard these, I was like, wow, the bass is a lot better on AirPods Pro than AirPods 2 or older versions of AirPods. Then about 15 days later, on November 14th of 2019, Apple released 2B588, which users immediately started saying, okay, everything else feels the same except for noise cancellation. It seems like it's worse. And it's like, all right, well, that could very easily be placebo because if you see the numbers and the version change and then you listen, oh, you know, it's not as good. But that's only because you're telling yourself it changed and maybe nothing actually changed at all. So it's like, okay, maybe that is true. But then a ton of users over the course of the next month started saying the same thing. But the AirPods didn't really hit the fan until, again, ours automatically updated to 2C54. And this is the crux, the penultimate point of the story here. Not only did noise cancellation not get better with this update, but between the last one, which already reportedly weakened it, and this one, some users were saying they couldn't even tell the difference between noise cancellation turned on and noise cancellation turned off. It all sounded the same. And it's like, again, is this placebo? It doesn't seem like it, because since this update has been released, there have been so many forums, entries on Apple's site, in the Mac Rumors forums who published this story and really brought it to my attention in the first place. Users there saying, something's up, something is not right with my AirPods that I paid $250 for. There's a twist here though, because 2C54 actually improved bass response and the overall sound. And that's according to rteens.com, who does an insanely detailed analysis of audio headphones. I discovered this courtesy of Mac Rumors. They've done some awesome reporting on these issues. Users everywhere have been having issues with the new AirPods. Not only is noise cancellation not as good, just general stability isn't great. And it turns out they were onto something, because at the beginning of 2020, Apple pulled the 2C54 update. Yes. In January, they pulled it, which meant there's some issues with this that we need to address. Here's the thing though, if you used your AirPods between like December 14th or 15th of 2019 and the beginning of 2020, your AirPods probably updated to 2C54, which Apple pulled because there's something up with it. It made it even worse, even though they attempted to improve some other things. But they haven't come out with a new update since then, because the newest firmware now that they're pushing out is the 2B588 from November. So we're in April of 2020, and a lot of people are still having issues. So they're trying to get new AirPods. The funny part though, is that Apple has found a way to complicate this even further. Because when you're reaching out to Apple support, according to Mac Rumors, some users are being sent a replacement AirPod, like the left or the right one, with 2D3. That's the firmware on it. Notice how I didn't mention that earlier? Yeah, that's because 2D3 isn't public yet. Apple hasn't officially released it. So your replacement AirPod 2D3 can't sync up with 2C54 or 2B88 or any other AirPods firmware, and you're having to listen to one AirPod at a time because they can't talk to each other even after trying to reset in a lot of cases. So we've got an unreleased firmware shipping out to people on replacement AirPods for issues. We've got a ton of unresolved stuff, and in April of 2020, issues that started back in November of 2019 remain unresolved. It seems like there is something at play here, right? Like all of this is happening. Now we've got an unreleased firmware going out, and the issue at its root is still not solved. I know that the virus going around is a super big deal, but again, the majority of these issues with just the pros have been going on since November and early December. So, I'm going to cut Apple some slack for what's happening globally right now, but also some of this stuff was happening last year. So I want to collect some rudimentary data here. This is by no means conclusive. I want to just show you all, because these stats are public, and also find out for myself how many people are having issues. Is it good? Is it bad? Also sound off on both sides of the equation down below in the comments section. So I wanted to bring this to Apple's attention, hopefully, and to your attention if you're having issues. It's not just you. You're not losing your mind. I don't think I'm losing my mind. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe for more. I've been Sam, and I'll catch all of you in my next video.